everyone, and welcome. If you've ever stared at a PYP planner and thought, how do I turn this document into a real journey of discovery for my students, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down the PYP planning process. We'll see how to view that planner not as some template you have to fill out, but as a map for genuine, exciting inquiry. Let's dive in. Okay, right here, this single sentence is pretty much the heart of everything we're going to talk about. It is the North Star for all PYP planning. Words like flexibility, collaboration, student agency, they're not just buzzwords. They're the core principles that turn planning from a boring, static task into a dynamic, living process. And that brings us to the biggest question for any inquiry teacher, right? How on earth do you plan for the beautiful, messy, totally unpredictable paths that real student-led inquiry takes? Well, the PYP's answer is actually pretty brilliant. You focus on a flexible process, not a rigid document. It's about building a really strong ship, not just drawing a perfectly straight line on a map. So to really get the how of the PYP planner, we first have to get our heads around the why. And the why is this huge, powerful idea that holds up the entire framework, transdisciplinarity. And look, this isn't just about mushing subjects together. It's about fundamentally shifting how we look at knowledge itself. So what does that actually mean? Well, transdisciplinarity is all about learning that goes across, between, and even beyond the traditional subjects. It's about taking on real-world problems that, don't fit neatly into a math box or a science box. The subjects become the tools we use to understand the world, not the containers we try to stuff learning into. I love this analogy because it makes it so clear. You've got multidisciplinary learning, that's like a mixed salad. All the ingredients are in the bowl, but the tomato is still a tomato, the lettuce is still lettuce, they're separate. Then you have interdisciplinary, which is more like a stew. Things start to cook together, the flavors blend a bit. But transdisciplinary learning, now that is a cake. The flour, the eggs, the sugar, they are completely transformed into something new, something you can't pull apart, and that's what we're aiming for. Okay, so keeping that big idea in mind, let's get practical. Let's look at the tool itself. We're going to take a guided tour of the planner. But I want you to think of it as our map for the inquiry, not just a document we have to complete. These 5 things you see here are the absolute core building blocks of any unit of inquiry. They all work together to give it shape and focus. It all starts with the big, broad, transdisciplinary theme. Then we zoom in to a really powerful central idea. The lines of inquiry break that down into pathways we can actually investigate. And along the way, we're exploring key concepts and giving our students the ATL skills they'll need for the whole journey. The central idea, this thing is the absolute powerhouse of your unit. It's not just a topic, like dinosaurs. It's a huge transferable concept, like extinction impacts future life on Earth. See the difference? It has to be big, open-ended, and conceptual, giving you and your students a really rich territory to explore for weeks. So if that central idea is our big destination, think of the lines of inquiry as the main roads we're going to take to explore it. They break that massive idea down into smaller, focused pathways that guide the investigation. They tell us what we're going to look into, and they help keep the unit from spiraling out of control. All right, now let's connect the what, the parts of the map, to the how. We've got the map, but how do we actually use it to navigate? This is where we really have to shift our thinking from the planner as a static document to planning as this living, breathing, collaborative process. This right here is the key mindset shift. Your planner is not supposed to be some perfect document that you write in August and then laminate. It should be a messy, evolving record of your conversations, of student questions, of unexpected turns in the road. It's something you build with your team and, most importantly, with your students. And this whole philosophy of a living collaborative process, it isn't just a nice idea. It's being actively reinforced by the IB. In 2025, there were some key updates to the planning documents. And these weren't just small tweaks. They were a major doubling down on what makes PYP planning so unique, really pushing all of us toward this more dynamic approach. And you can really see the change in action right here. Just look at student agency. It used to be just a heading, but now it's woven into every single stage of the process. For you in the classroom, that means student questions and ideas aren't just an add-on, they are the very fabric of the plan. And check out assessment. It's not a separate step at the end anymore. It's fully integrated, happening all the time for planning and for making learning visible. So here's the crucial takeaway from those 2025 updates. It's all about this: process over product. The IB is being super clear that the collaborative planning process, the conversations, the reflections, the co-designing, that part is mandatory. But the specific planner template you use, that's flexible. Your school can and should design its own planner that actually works for your community, as long as it supports that deep collaborative inquiry. So, let's pull all of this together. If there's one single thing you should walk away with today, what is it? It's about completely reframing how you see the planner, moving it from being a static document to a catalyst for real dialogue. This is the idea I really want to leave you with. Your planner is not an administrative form you have to fill out. It is a map for a journey. And it's not a journey that you dictate from the front of the room. It's one you co-navigate with your teaching team and, crucially, with your students, responding to their wonders and theories as you go. So I'll close with a question for you to take back to your team. Thinking about your own practice, what's one small step you can take, maybe tomorrow, to start transforming your planner from just a record of what was taught into a powerful catalyst for authentic, emerging inquiry?